What's up, Polina?
Please go like the video if you indeed like this video. Anthony's voice sounds like Miley Cyrus. Do you want to drink some water?
No.
Get some water.
Nah, let's go. What's up?
All right.
Always wanted to do that and actually mean it.
Jeez Louise. All right. So the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, said that basically he's giving up on a soft landing. What do we think?
I mean, there's two ways to look at this. One, thank you for being honest. Thank you for trying to be rational. I think that he is becoming more and more transparent with his viewpoints. He's becoming less of, I have to repeat the talking points, and he's becoming more, hey, this is where I think we are, which is appreciated. At the same time, there's a lot of folks who say you get no credit for now saying this stuff, like you should have known this before, and we shouldn't be in this situation. Both sides have a strong argument. I think it will be very difficult for them to deal with the confluence of events of 8.6% inflation, hiking interest rates, going into a potential recession where contracted GDP in Q1. That is just an environment that I don't see us coming to a soft landing in any way. And so they're going to be forced to make a decision. Will they stay committed to raising interest rates, or will they actually go ahead and end up reversing course? I think that they will have to reverse course at some point.
Yeah, I think I appreciate the honesty, to be honest.
The honesty, to be honest?
He said that we think there are pathways for us to achieve the path. Oh, he talks like me. We think there are pathways for us to achieve the path back to 2% inflation while still retaining a strong labor market. We believe we can do that.
That's the one you took away? Because the tweet that I saw that was all time was, he said, we understand better how little we understand inflation.
Yeah, he likes repeating his
Let's run that one back real quick for the ladies and gentlemen at home. We understand better how little we understand inflation. Which, by the way, yeah, true. Yes, that is true. The way it's said, though, is a little confusing or repetitive. But yeah, this stuff is hard. Like, I also, and this is very important. It is so easy to sit here and rail on the central bankers, on the economists, etc. It's nearly an impossible job. Predicting an economy and all of the various inputs into it, and then what those outputs will be, is literally impossible. There's no one who gets it right 100% of the time. As we previously talked, Peter Lynch, famous investor who used to manage the Fidelity Magellan Fund, has this joke that he always says, if you spend 16 minutes on macro predictions and macro economy analysis, you spent 14 minutes too long. It's because nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. And so what we are asking is a central banker to sit and look at a set of data, which is backwards looking. The inflation data they're using to make decisions today is based on the readings from a month ago. So it's backwards looking data, but make decisions today on what's going to happen in the future. That is just by definition nearly impossible to do. And then, oh, by the way, it's not just one number or one decision. It's across the entire economic system. This is very difficult. I think that human-led monetary policy is exposing itself for its vulnerabilities, its complexities, and its challenges right now.
All right.
What's going on with mortgages?
Thank you for the analysis, Miley. I just wanted to say that. After rising steadily for 3 weeks, mortgage rates...
You better be careful.
That's exactly what she sounds like. It's like if you got financial, analysis from Miley Cyrus. After rising steadily for 3 weeks, mortgage rates dipped slightly last week, prompting a small increase in refinance activity. Activity from home buyers, however, pulled back further, leaving total mortgage demand basically flat from the previous week. What do we want to talk here about the psychology of home buyers?
So this is all psychology, which most people look at it and they think that there's this like super sensitive response to changes in interest rates. So if interest rates go up a little bit, they're like, oh, demand might cool down. If interest rates come down a little bit, demand will increase. And that is true in kind of medium to long term, but it's not true week to week. And what do I mean by that? Is there's not enough time for the market to internalize any sort of change in a week to week basis. And there's a macro psychology at play. So if you're somebody and you are in Q1 going into Q2 of this year, you've pretty much made a decision. Interest rates directionally are going up or they're going down. Obviously, they're going up. So what do? I'm not going to be in the market. You don't care about the week-to-week changes in the interest rate. All you've done is you've psychologically put yourself in a position where you've said, we are potentially headed towards a recession. I am going to pull back. And you start to do that across all spending, but also, hey, I'm not going to go buy a house. I'm not going to go try to refinance. I'm not going to go spend more money on, frivolous things. And so once that occurs, there may be week to week, even month to month fluctuations of the mortgage rates. But the difference between 5 and 5.5%, as an example, doesn't matter. Like, people psychologically have already pulled back from the market, and that ends up being the prevalent or kind of dominating driver of activity.
Okay.
All right. What's up next with stimulus?
So more than half of California's residents may soon receive a stimulus check from the state. As part of an inflation relief package worth $17 million, an estimated 23 million eligible Californians will receive payments totaling up to $1,050 for joint filers with at least one dependent later this fall. Newsom is calling this a middle-class rebate. He's saying that's more money in your pocket to help you fill your gas tank and put food on the table.
What do you think?
I mean, I can't even with Newsom.
You can't even.
I cannot even with him.
I think that there's two arguments that are likely to be made here. Ready?
Yeah.
First one, are they trying to buy votes?
Oh, interesting. Wait, why? Because he's doing it?
Well,
if
for example, a politician said, hey, I'm going to run for office, and they went and they said, Paulina, if you vote for me, I'm going to give you $100.
I don't think that's what's happening.
Hold on. I'm going to give you $100. If they stood outside the polling center and they said, go inside and vote, I'll give you $100. That would be illegal.
Wait.
Right? And people would say that's unethical. If a major driver of them doing this is that we are heading into midterm elections and they simply want to give free money, because then those people will be like, oh, I just got the check. Right? It's the same thing. Both sides of the aisle do this. This was an allegation levied against Trump with the Trump bucks. It's now an allegation being levied against Newsom. So two different sides of the aisle. They both are doing similar things. But it is part of the conversation is, if there was not midterm elections this year, would they do this? I think there's a strong argument that they would not. What?
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't understand how this works, but has this happened before on the state level? It's always been like federal, right?
There's all kinds of nuances around rebates, and there's always programs. It's never been explicit, to my knowledge, like this, where they're calling it an inflation relief package. But here's the other thing.
But so it can happen on the state level. I'm just surprised more state legislators haven't done that.
Because the other state legislators aren't fucking idiots, to be completely honest. This is, by the way, just to make this clear, this is the dumbest thing in the world.
Why?
Okay, guess what they're paying the people? Joint filers that make between $250,000 and $500,000. So families that make between $250,000 and $500,000 a year, they're giving them $400.
Why are they doing that?
Because it is fucking stupid.
Wait, but
that's why they're doing it. This is the dumbest thing in the world. Because guess what? This does not solve your problem.
This doesn't solve the problem they're trying to solve, I don't think.
That's the problem. That's why this is dumb, is because what they are doing is, yes, giving someone, whether it's $200 or $1,000, it is helpful in the short term. But that's exactly what they did in 2020, is they gave people a check now. They said, we want to help this short-term mitigation of pain. But the problem was they created a long-term problem. And loose monetary and fiscal policy drove 40-year high inflation. All California is doing here is they're saying, we will give you a check. Well, what do you think $9.5 billion is going to do? It's not going to provide relief from inflation in terms of bringing inflation down. It's going to further drive the inflationary pressures.
My question is, if you're going to do this, why not go big?
Don't give them ideas. No.
Give them $1 million.
No. Well, first of all, California doesn't have $1 million to give to every citizen unless you do bad math on Twitter. But I think that there is a very strong argument that what we are watching is politicians are exposing themselves for not understanding anything about economics. If you think handing somebody who makes $250,000 to $500,000 a year $400 is going to be inflation relief, You literally are unfit for office. Like, that's insane.
But do you think they did that because they couldn't just exclude those people? I guess they could have.
Well, what about the guy who makes $500,005? Why'd you leave him out? What about the woman who makes $1 million a year? Why'd you leave her out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? So again, it goes back to this idea that many states are likely to pursue this. But what they are doing is, it sounds good. It's theoretical. Let's give them money so that they can put, literally, they said, put gas in their cars and food on the table. Unfortunately, what they are doing, though, is they're addressing a short-term problem at the expense of the long-term pain, and it's probably going to get worse.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Anybody has questions about this, talk to my dad, who
lived through two hyperinflationary
they used to give
events.
him like you get this coupon for like bread and this coupon is.
Well, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about a gas tax holiday. They're talking about, we're going to give you a check so you can go buy food. Think of it. In the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, the country that billions of people around the world look at and say, over the last couple of decades, I want to get there because that's where the American dream is. That's where capitalism is. And that's where, if I get there, I got a shot to build a life of happiness and financial security. That was the promise of the American dream.
But to play devil's advocate, people are struggling so that there is relief for those people.
Of course, but you can't claim. It's like showing up. There's this well-known kind of what do they call it? Like story or comparison is central bankers set a building on fire and then they show up. And they're like, hey, we're the firemen, and they want credit for like trying to put the fire out. But like, you started the fire, so are you an arsonist or are you a fireman, right? Like, is this a classic example? What they're doing now is exactly the same from politicians. They're showing up and they're trying to claim that they're firemen. Oh, we're going to help with inflation. We're going to help with inflation. But actually what they're doing is they're literally saying, let's help put the fire out by throwing more matches into the fire. Like, it's stupid. And so again, I understand that people are saying, yes, a $300 check, a $400 or $500 or $1,000, that can help in the short term. But what we have to ask ourselves, are we more concerned with trying to help somebody bridge the next 30 days, or are we actually trying to solve the problem? Because if you think about it, the United States government gave people $1,200 checks, and in turn, they got 40-year high inflation. Was it worth it? There's a debate. I don't have the answers. I don't know what the answer is. But there is a very strong debate as to whether the stimulus checks were worth what ended up being the longer term problem.
Gotta go think on that.
All right, what's going on with Michael Saylor?
MicroStrategy said it purchased 480 Bitcoin for about $10 million, an average price of $20,817 per coin.
Look, what do you think?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I think, is Michael Saylor just going to keep buying Bitcoin?
Yeah.
He's got so much.
Well, the company has now just under 130,000. Well, he's got a lot personally as well, from what he said. They spent $10 million, bought 480. Purchase price around $20,800. They've got just under 130,000 Bitcoin, and the average price is $30,000. The key to this entire strategy, which he's outlaid, is he has two strategies at his company. They have a business intelligence strategy. They're going to sell software. They're going to drive revenue and try to continue to reap profits. And then at the same time, they have a treasury strategy, which they're going to continue to convert their dollars into Bitcoin. He's just continuing to do the strategy. And I think what more so than anything, it's not that he spent $10 million on Bitcoin. It's that it's very clear. Don't listen to what he's saying. Watch what that company is doing. They continue to buy regardless of if the price is high or low. And they're just essentially dollar cost averaging into the asset. And whether you think that's a good strategy or not, you got to tip your cap and you got to say to yourself, hey, these people have a strategy. They are committed to it. They're showing conviction and they're continuing to execute the strategy. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
All right, what's up with Mars? We had moon dust yesterday. Now we got Mars clouds.
Well, because all these depressing topics, I needed something. All right. So NASA is asking the people like you and me to go help them identify Martian clouds using the citizen science citizen science platform, Zooniverse, and the information may help researchers figure out why the planet's atmosphere is just 1% as dense as Earth's, even though ample evidence suggests the planet used to have a much thicker atmosphere. So I spent all morning identifying
Where do
clouds.
you find this stuff?
It's on NASA. So then it serves you up like pictures of clouds and you have to identify them. And the whole point is that, like you still need humans even though AI is like so sophisticated. But I'm helping.
So they are asking the average citizen
Yes.
to conduct labeling of photos.
Yes. And then you can talk to other citizens that are also labeling clouds.
I'm sure those are riveting
It
conversations.
was an amazing morning today. But how cool. And they also have like other things that you can do. It's all about like citizens identifying things. Why are you like this?
Why am I like this?
No, it's so interesting.
I was sold on this whole idea of getting people to label the photos until you said that it was an amazing morning because of the conversations with other people.
Well, no, I wasn't talking. I was just observing.
What were they saying?
I don't know. They're talking about the clouds. But did you know that there's different types of clouds?
Tell me more.
Yeah, there's clear sky. There's
Well, if there's no clouds, is that a type of cloud or is that just absent
Then there's
of
like
clouds?
those like weird clouds that are kind of like, yeah, I'll show you later. But it's just really cool because if you have some time on your hands, you could go help identify clouds on Mars.
How do they know that the people who are doing the identification of the clouds actually know what a cloud is and can identify
They tell
correctly?
you. They show you pictures.
Oh, they train you and then
Yes.
they unleash you.
Yes.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well.
People are saying that I'm a hater because I'm not into the Mars cloud.
Alex K
situation.
said, "Thank you, Paulina, for injecting some fun into this segment."
That's my burner.
Who's that?
No, my burner on YouTube is Alex K.
Why?
Because I said that.
No, you didn't.
All right, thank you very much.
Goodbye.
I appreciate it.
Hey you, did you like this video? Great, we make 5 of them a day and post them here on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed, like the video, and see you next time.